Our next partner highlight speaker is Jessica Morrow. Oh, please come on over. Jessica is a healthcare practice leader at Dimensional Innovations, and she works with healthcare facilities to help create environments with custom design technology that encourage healing.
It's on the where? Oh, I see it. Hi, everyone. So I know the happy hour drinks and the beautiful weather are waiting, so I promise to make this interesting. As he said, my name is Jessica, and I lead the healthcare practice at Dimensional Innovations. DI is an experience design, build, and technology firm, and our healthcare practice focuses on using the built environment and interactive technology to improve how children experience healthcare environments. DI actually is known for our work in the sports world. So we design and build fan experiences and brand engagement in NFL stadiums, NBA, MLB, anything you can really think of, NCAA. So I know everyone's thinking, well, what does that have to do with healthcare? And the unique thing is that we've been able to bring our experience from professional sports, corporate environments, entertainment into healthcare, because as we all know, healthcare is becoming more and more of a consumer-based environment. So being able to design spaces in those areas have really proven to be successful for us, because the same human beings that are walking through these stadiums are walking through the hospitals that you guys work in every day. So can you guys tell I'm nervous? My voice is shaking a little. So what I want you guys to take away from this today is really the thought of what if. What if children's hospitals were designed to be more than just kid-friendly? What if they were designed with specific patient populations in mind, and that those environments could improve clinical outcomes? What if we designed spaces in collaboration with child life specialists and doctors and marketing people and foundation folks to not only make the spaces effective for the kids, but to figure out if we can get them funded from donors? Before I get too far into the presentation, I too am going to introduce my little girl. This is Layla. Layla is 7 years old and just started second grade last week. She plays sports. She has an overweight beagle that she's in love with. She likes to dance to hip-hop music. It's edited, so don't judge me. But the other side of Layla is that she, too, is a children's hospital patient. So Layla was diagnosed with sleep apnea when she was about 3 years old, and with that came several trips to Children's Mercy, sleep studies, doctor's appointments, surgeries, the whole 9 yards. And I realize on the big spectrum compared to some of the diseases and children that you guys treat every day, that it's minor, but in our family it was a big deal. It was scary for her to walk through that children's hospital for the first time, not knowing what was going to happen to her. It was stressful for me, not knowing where I'm going. Are we going to be late? I'm very type A, so I'm like dragging her along as she's already stressed out about her appointment. And so when I got the opportunity to lead the healthcare practice at DI, I had a very strong connection to not only what the parents experience, but also the children. And as a millennial mom, don't cringe at the word millennial, everybody in this room, I know the importance of being able to share my experiences with my peers, because I actually read a quote the other day that said, the boomers had Spock and millennials have each other. So it's very important that our experiences can translate to our friends and our peers. So anyway, yes, so when I started working at DI, I was really excited to have a hand in trying to transform healthcare environments as we know it. The next person I want you to meet is Rafi, and you'll see Rafi in a little bit later on in the presentation. But Rafi is a world champion equestrian rider from Connecticut. He is also a patient at Children's Medical Center in Farmington in their infusion clinic. When I met Rafi a couple of months ago, I was talking to his mom, and his mom was like, you know what, I didn't even know he was sick until he told me he didn't want to ride anymore. And so he was spending more time in bed, and he wasn't out riding, and so his mom knew something was wrong and took him to the doctor. And they later found out he had Crohn's disease, and long story short, he's doing well now, but I thought it was interesting. So when I was thinking about what I was going to say to you guys today, it really came down to his story and how in a split second, his world went from being pretty unlimited to having a certain amount of constraints. So what we did at Connecticut Children's, this is an early conceptual sketch of that, is try to make his world and the other children's world just a little bit broader. And so when I talk about designing for specific patient populations and trying to address their specific needs, this is a great example. So these kids in infusion clinic, you're hooked to an IV pole, you're sitting for the most part, you're not mobile, you're there for an extended period of time, multiple times a month or throughout the year. So how do you create something for kids that's engaging, not only for the first time, but every time they come in there? Also, how do you create something that's engaging for a 6-year-old, but also a 16-year-old? So when we worked with their clinical staff, the medical director, the child life team members, we were able to identify a specific solution. And I won't give it away because I'm going to show you the finished product at the end. But just thinking through those specific needs was pretty interesting. And so that brings me to the next activation that we did for University of Iowa Children's Hospital. And this is just some wireframes of the design, but essentially it was kind of the opposite end of the spectrum. It was getting kids up and moving after a procedure, getting them ready to be dismissed from the hospital and showing the doctors that they were feeling well enough to go home. So yeah, as you can tell, the different needs of those two different patient populations was pretty great. And then finally, this is a project that's still very much in conceptual design, and it's for a burn unit. As you guys all know, virtual reality has been proven to reduce anxiety and ultimately reduce the pain medication that are given to children. And the doctor that is over the burn unit at Children's Mercy came to us and said, you know, I know that VR is working, but my kids are between ages 2 and 5. They're too little for the goggles. So I need something that's going to be distracting for them and immersive for them, but that doesn't disconnect them from their bodies as much as VR goggles did. So that brought us to this design idea, which is an immersive theater within the burn unit. So a child will be able to walk into an intake room, choose the environment that they want to experience during their treatment, and then when they walk through the hallway and into the room, they'll enter a world that they desire. So what it's going to do is hopefully distract from the pain, but also from the PTSD. This doctor also shared with us that every time the child comes in, because it's so painful, they're terrified. And you know what? Their parents also suffer PTSD because a lot of times those children are being burned because they're not being paid attention to. So the parents also suffer at the same time. How do we do this? We do this through collaboration. This is an image from a discovery session that we did. So like I said, we collaborate with the doctors, the child life teams, and really anyone, as long as we don't get too many chiefs and not enough Indians in the room, it works out pretty well, and we're able to meet the specific needs of the patients. I'm going to fly through these because I'm running out of time. So when I talk about meeting the social, cognitive needs of the kids, that's something we're also doing. So thinking about the delays that children face from extended hospitalization, right? They're not in the kindergarten classroom learning how to raise their hand. They're not waiting in line in the cafeteria. They're not going to Friday night football games with their friends. So how do we create those environments within the hospital to give them similar experiences? This is for Children's of Alabama. And it is a child life space. So as you can see over there in the left-hand corner, that's an interactive wall, and then there are several games that they can play individually. And so outside of the interactivity, it also creates a space for the kids to come together that they actually want to spend time in. It's not a child life room with a table and crayons on it. It's actually somewhere that the kids want to be. This is not our work. This is a hospital in the Netherlands, but I think it's a really cool story about experience design because they designed tricycles where the IV pole could be on the tricycle and the child could still ride their bike through this little hallway with their IV pole. So I think that that is just another example of, it doesn't necessarily have to be these huge, expensive technology pieces. They can be simple design. And then this is just an example of a teen room that we're doing for Joe DiMaggio Children's. I know I'm showing you a lot of sketches. Some things are completed, some things are still in the works. But again, when you create a teen room, you want something more than just a couch with a Wii. You want something where kids are actually going to want to go and hang out and have a little bit of fellowship with their fellow patients.
My name is Caitlin. I am 16 years old.
My name is Rafi.
I am Alexander.
And I'm Abigail.
I'm here because I have Crohn's for about 2 years.
I was diagnosed with Crohn's on May 15th of 2017.
We have had The good fortune of being with a wonderful team, but the misfortune of having to be in an infusion center.
The old space was 2 rooms and 6 beds, a little cramped.
We were in 2 rooms that were 10 by 14, and it was very cramped space.
The first time I saw it, I was like, wow, this is like really cool.
This place makes me feel special because it definitely allows me to escape.
The name of my avatar is Raffy Taffy.
Spot is a jumpy lizard. I colored him pink and blue. You can give him care packages, go to a different world, and it's so cool.
I'll just be focused on my character, and I won't be focused when they were doing a shot.
This kind of space really, I can't say what a dream it is. It helped so much.
You go to a hospital, you think it's gonna be a really bad thing, you're gonna get a bunch of needles, no one likes that. If you're doing something interactive with other people, then it's fun, and I really didn't want to go home.
For kids who are sick, if they have a place like this, get to feel like those normal kids.
I was overcome by emotions the first time that I saw this place. It really was a visceral experience for me.
When you think about a child that has a diagnosis that is really a lifelong condition, flip that around and give them this, to give them an experience that they are so excited to come to, I couldn't be prouder of what we've done here.
As you can see there, we did several things to make it entertaining for the kids every time they came back. It kind of gamified the experience for them. And we were just so proud of the work that we did there. And we're up next with our dialysis center. And the thing about it is that we can't do this alone. We need people like you that are in this room to advocate for us, to champion for your kids, that the hospital environment needs a complete and total overhaul, and the money is being spent and the money can be raised to create environments like this for your kids. Thank you.